Welcome! Despite rumours to the contrary, global warming seems to be alive and well, as August of 2014 set a new high temperature record for the month. Here we have the global temperature anomalies plotted separately for the land, ocean and the combination of the two. You can see that the land temperature is about 1 degree centigrade above the 20th century average, which is the second highest on record. The ocean temperatures are about 0.65 degrees centigrade above the 20th century average, which is the highest recorded to date. And when you combine the two, you get an average increase of 0.75 degrees centigrade above the 20th century average, which is also the highest to date. If we look at the two hemispheres separately, we find that the northern hemisphere set an all-time record with an average of about 0.9 degrees centigrade above the long-term average, whereas the southern hemisphere was about 0.6 degrees centigrade above the long-term average, which is the fourth highest on record. There are a few interesting facts that should be pointed out here. It's been 38 years since we had an August that was below the long-term average temperature, and 9 of the 10 warmest Augusts on record have occurred in the 21st century. Let's take a closer look at the spatial distribution of temperatures over the globe. Here's a map showing the temperature distribution for August of 2014. The red squares show warming compared to the average, whereas blue squares show cooling with respect to the average. The first thing to get from this map is there's far more red on it than blue. However, you should note that dark red here indicates that new record high temperatures have been set, and there's a large number of squares that are that colour. However, there are no dark blue squares on the plot which would indicate record low temperatures set. In fact, only northern Australia and northern Siberia have had temperatures that are much cooler than average. The United States, for example, has basically had normal temperatures for August, and that goes to show how distorted our view of temperature has become, because everybody here has been complaining how cold it's been in August, and when in reality it's been actually an average month. So how is 2014 setting up year to date? Here are the first 8 months of the year where we have data, and you can see that 4 of them have set new records. Another 3 have been very close. So does this mean that 2014 will become the hottest year on record? Well, let's see. This rather confusing plot shows the temperature records by month for all of the 135 years where we have an accurate thermometer record. The 5 hottest years are marked in red: 2010, 2005, 1998, 2013 and 2003. The green line is 2014 to date. So let's blow that chart up and just look at the 5 warmest years and compare that to 2014. Well, that's better, a little less confusing. Marked here in red is the warmest year on record, which is 2010, and the black line here is 2014 to date. It looks as though if we have a continuing possibility of an El Nino later this year, that 2014 will indeed become the warmest year on record. Even if that's not the case, under relatively modest assumptions, 3 of the 5 scenarios here will result in 2014 becoming the warmest year on record. So there's a very, very good chance that that is going to happen. Let's return to the confusogram for a second. Note that it took 7 years for 1998 to be supplanted as the warmest year on record by 2005. It then only took 5 years for 2010 to supplant 2005 as the warmest year on record. And if 2014 becomes the warmest year on record, then it has been only 4 years since the last record was set. So the time between these record-setting years is becoming shorter and shorter. It seems as though global warming is in fact accelerating. So what is the chance of an El Nino? The chance of a very extreme El Nino seems to have dropped, but NOAA is still putting the chance of an El Nino developing later this year at about 60%. So hang on to your hats. Global warming will continue.